Okay, folks, happy Sunday. Over here on the other side, on the other table. And we did an unboxing video yesterday. Let me get some things moved over here. We did an unboxing video yesterday about some tanks. And they kind of came in, and sorry, I'm trying to do multiple things at once, and I really suck at that. Let's change the seats. Let's do the air conditioning seat or the cooler seat. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tanks together. I know some folks probably want to see them put together. I'm kind of curious as well. From Miniature Tanks Company, and they have all their assembly videos on YouTube as well. A couple of them didn't need any assembly at all. It is amazing how big this SDK of Z9 is. It is massive. And the thing is it looks just like a 7. I don't have a 7. That's the only one I don't. That's the one that you typically see that getting pulled by the 88. That's normally the same. It looks exactly the same, or very similar, but the other one would be, I guess, 25% smaller, something like that. This thing is just, it almost looks like a 28 millimeter model. But this is all one piece. Nothing to do on this. A little bit of light sanding. There's almost like these little hairs, really fine. You want to remove those before you go and airbrush them, or they're going to be a problem. And the SDK of Z11. So those are pretty much ready to go. I know I'm going to need one more thing. I need to see if it's here. Yeah, there it is. A Tamiya. How do you think? Okay. So let's build the Churchill. Let's do the Churchill. Now, the thing about assembling these things is you can't use weld cement, unfortunately. But that goes for any of the 3D printed stuff. It doesn't work with weld cement. So you got to use super glue. They actually recommended using this on, I don't know if on this particular video for the Churchill, but they recommended using this repositionable gel super glue. I didn't even know that this existed. And yeah, it makes a difference because then you can adjust it and what have you. And we're going to get an X-Acto knife. We got an X-Acto knife? Yeah. Now they're like tiny little cobwebs. I've actually never seen ones these fine. You'd probably move them out of the way with a brush. And there's a little bit of a pattern on there. I've got my new device here. I don't know if that's going to do any good to grind some of that stuff off. I know that in the past I've bought some of these before, and sandpaper it won't budge. Sandpaper won't budge this thing at all. So you got the upper hull here, and then the front, and this will probably go something like this. Now here's a little door opening, so that goes towards the back. This goes towards the front. Yeah, that's going to tie in like that. We have a machine gun here. Has a little support piece underneath it. I'm not going to remove it. I'm just asking for trouble for that to happen. Something to happen to it. Let's queue up Miniature Tanks Company, Churchill 3. Now, they don't have any like prongs. So if this piece meets this one, there is nothing on here for it to catch on or things to tie in. So they decided to make it that way. I don't necessarily have a problem with the way that was done, but that's just how it is. Now, I'm not going to play the audio. I don't know if that's a copyright thing or something. And if I do something wrong, I apologize to Miniature Tanks Company. They're not even using a repositionable gel on this one. Is this thing dual sided? Yeah, I guess it is. And there's extra flash on the bottom of this barrel that'll need to be removed. Yeah, you're showing me what it looks like built. Okay, let's do it in the recommended order that you recommend doing it in. I guess this is the version that has all of them, including the crocodile. I have one of these. Well, I have a Mark 7 from Airfix. I never was able to finish it because I lost the track. And the barrel is just too damn thin. And when I got it was a long time ago, and I just didn't have the hobby skills that I do now. So it's funny, it says, remove this stuff from the middle. And it doesn't have that. There's nothing in here. Now, does this thing move smoothly? Absolutely. Okay, so that's good. So this video is not exactly accurate. It actually tells you to have to remove more things than you do. So that's a good problem to have. There's also some running wheel type things on here, which this one does not have. All right, it wants me to remove the bottom of the barrel here. Let's pause that video. All right, here we go. One thing that's really confusing about the Churchill is that, were they equipped with a 6-pounder or a 75 millimeter? And as far as I can tell, they were originally equipped with a 6-pounder, the ones that went to Tunisia. And then eventually they got put in by they got a 75 millimeter put in. And it doesn't say that that's the case with this one, but looking at it back and forth, it has kind of this the 75 millimeter in this one has like this. I think it's the same gun that's on the Sherman, but it has a muzzle brake on it, which actually makes the gun look really nice. I'm kind of a fan of muzzle brakes. They tend to make the gun look better, in my opinion. Nice to see some World War II kit. Yeah, there you go. Well, it just came in yesterday. And I'm not saying I'm going to roll into painting these things, but I'm also not saying that may happen. One of the reasons that I like what I'm doing now these days is I can do whatever the fuck I want, whatever order I want to. Yeah, you tell them. And I've bought from these before, and there is a little bit of a pattern on these, but I think it's less than it's been in the past. But the resin that they use is super, well, we'll call it resin. I'm not really sure what this is. FDM. I'm not a 3D printer expert. And have no plans to ever do any 3D printing of myself. Let the people that are good at that. A lot of the 3D printers probably never do any sanding, so, you know. Let's get one of these. Man, I got all this stuff, but it's not where it needs to be. I'm pretty organized. I started this video this morning. I started getting ready to do this video, and it put me in a bad mood because I had this thing where I put all my paintbrushes in, and where I sifted through all my paintbrushes and got a bunch of old paintbrushes out of the way, and then I twisted the computer to come over this way and knocked the whole fucking paintbrush thing down. Now, it didn't cause any damage other than I had to start picking up something that I had sorted properly. So it just pissed me off. I swear, every time I'm wearing glasses, I'm like a fucking mole man. You know, you're like fumbling around like Velma. Now, the upside is, you know, when you're working on stuff and you don't have your glasses on, like in nearsighted mode, I'm seeing all kinds of details that I never had before. So I'm enjoying that part more, but man, I'm a fumbling fuck when I put on glasses. And it's just because of you're distracted by, you know, this frame of what's framing your vision. I don't know. Maybe it happens to everybody. Maybe I'm just 54 going on 104. I don't know. It's annoying to be incompetent. I don't cut myself with X-Acto knives. Yeah, let me run my mouth. I don't cut myself with X-Acto knives, but yeah, but I fumble things when it's not all the time. And I used to never do it, so it's like really annoying. Yeah, this material they use is freaking hard as nails. From your video I watched earlier, the material looks a lot firmer than the 3D printers from Chad. Well, remember, I got this stuff before I ever got Chad's stuff, okay? Because 3 years ago, the 3D printing stuff that I wanted to get, there was nobody that made it in the States. And that was even before, well, it was after COVID. But, the pricing on the shipping is just astronomical now. It was bad before, it's astronomical now. So I'm looking for somebody stateside to make 3D printed stuff. And if there's a gripe that I have about these, is that their material is too damn hard. But it's definitely, not that Chad's stuff is weak. You know, I wish any of these 3D printing stuff you could use weld cement, assemble it with weld cement. There's just peace of mind with doing that. Now, I've done these videos before, this particular material, and some people have a moo cow about being able to see the lines on stuff. Now, there is one particular brand of 3D printer. I don't remember who it is. It's one particular 3D printer that's relatively popular. I can't tell you who it is right now. And they have a tremendous amount of lines, like that it's like even the print molds that they have aren't accurate. Like, I think these are very accurate. You know, they just sometimes have a little bit of a pattern, and honestly, it doesn't bother me much. And after a while, you just kind of unsee that. One person put a comment that they didn't like that 3D printers made the windows solid. And to be honest with you, I kind of prefer it. And the reason why I prefer it is if you have this vehicle that you need to put together that has a window on it, and even if it was a model kit, now you're like, okay, am I going to put somebody in it? But I don't have the figure for it. But if I put somebody in it and you're in a game and they want to get out, the figure's still stuck in there. So would you rather have an empty vehicle with no one in it, and when there's supposed to be someone in the vehicle, you need to put something on it to remind you that there's someone in the vehicle? Or would you rather have a figure in there all the time, but maybe he gets shot, but yet he's still in the you know what I mean? It's like, which way do you want it? I'd rather just have the cab solid, and it can be whatever you want it to be, you know. Different strokes for different folks. Aircraft models, I find it particularly annoying that the first thing they want you to do is the cockpit, and I couldn't care less about the cockpit part if I'm building an aircraft. You know, it's just not important to me. I'd rather the underside of the vehicle be accurate and have like where all little oil change spots are and all that. You're welcome. But you know, not everything is important to everyone. You know? So this is definitely a more solid material. And this piece, like for instance, is completely solid. Now I think that means because this is FDM. I don't know. I don't even know if FDM is the right terminology, but it's not resin. It's not resin. And it's a lot harder than the resin. It's a lot harder than the 3D printing resin stuff. That doesn't mean necessarily that I dislike this one and like the other one more. You know, now I happen to get things that that Ron does not make on purpose, and this is huge. This SDKFZ9 is massive. Now I don't have a 7. I was going to get a 7 also. I just ran out of credits, so. But there's a little bit of lines here. You can feel them. If you go to sand this, it probably won't even make a dent on it. Let's do the underside. Yeah, there's some right here. Yeah. It doesn't even make a dent on it. I mean, it's sanding something, but you can scrape it with an X-Acto knife and it really doesn't make a dent. Now, one thing I didn't have before is this little guy. So let's see, what can I get in there and rub up against that? But I would much rather have this than like an Eschi model that you have to build all this stupid ass suspension that then doesn't fit together well. Like, this is like ready to paint. I mean, I may sand it a little bit, but let's take one of these bits, put this on low, and see if this is even worth fooling with. I think that smoothed it out. I just don't know if that it's worth it. You know, I don't think that it's worth it. So. Now I'm going to take one that is flattish. But yeah, it was kind of hard trying to figure out, okay, but it's a Churchill Mark III. It's got a 6-pounder, right? Did they use any 6-pounder ones in Normandy? Yes, some. But some of them were also converted to 75 millimeter. And they also used some Mark IVs, which were all 75 millimeter ones. You know, it's just, it's confusing, you know? But I know what unit we're going to make this for. I know some of the names that they used on some of the tanks, because remember these Churchills are going to have the big name up here on the side painted in white lettering. Love doing that stuff. I got an article from Micromark that was for one of the brigades that's in the Epsom book. And it talks about, assuming it's correct, the threes were all one. The threes were in squadrons. They weren't normally mixed in squadrons. So now it doesn't tell you which squadron had the threes and which ones had the fours. So we're just going to have to do some creativity on it. Now the whole front of this thing is flat, which means we're probably going to drill little periscopes if it has it. I'll come look at that in a second. Yeah, this stuff is really hard. I mean, it's not as hard as like the regular resin, you know, the old school resin, which you'll crack on you. This doesn't crack on you. And I don't know whether that's, you know, different people, different material is made for different purposes. Like you may have one that has less detail than others, but it's like super strong. Or you have one that's like fine detail, but you got to be careful with it. This takes a little bit of TLC. Actually, all the lines that were on the bottom are gone. But I don't want to do that kind of treatment on everything, or, you know, we'd never get more than one tank done. Well, I don't know what's going on with Plastic Soldier Company, but they posted something about some figures that were coming in 3D printed or whatever, and they look really good. They look like AB figures. And then somebody commented like, "You guys just not doing plastic stuff anymore?" I don't know. I don't know what their business model or what's going on with it. They're definitely having issues stocking stuff for whatever reason. You these guys don't make a Churchill 4, and the Churchill 4 is made by Plastic Soldier Company. So it's like, okay, makes sense to get the 3s from here and then the 4s on the other one. All right, let me look at let's look at a Churchill Mark III 75 millimeter images. And there's the one. Oh, it may not have any holes next to it. The periscopes might be doing all that job. Here's the one that's at Bovington. It doesn't look like it's got any. Okay, well, I shan't worry about it then. Alright, back to the assembly video. Alright, we've got that flash on the gun removed. Okay, and this part with this one goes together like that. I don't know. These guys sold me. Miniature Tennis Company sold me on using this adjustable cement. I'm going to use that because that's the regular super glue is a fuckery. You get it in the wrong place and you're in a hurry, and the next thing you know you're off by a little bit, and then you got a problem on your hands. So now, one thing I never realized is when you're putting down super glue, not to slather it. It's basically like you want to put it in little dots. I'll take a look at the comments here in a second. Let's get this going. I'm just going to need maybe 5 minutes or so to get completely together. All right. This is where nearsighted comes in handy. It's not necessary. I've done most of my modeling in 20/20 vision with contacts in, but now the one thing that I'm kind of a new convert to using sprue goo. I don't think I can use sprue goo with this stuff because it doesn't do anything. It would just sit on the surface there. Okay, you really miss their old plastic kits and figures. Good morning, Barnes. You're building these this morning. I never found that Adam Savage video, but I did find a good Reddit post about removing layer lines. Yeah, I think I did one way back when, and it was like using some material and it didn't work for me. At the end of the day, it doesn't bother me that much. And somebody, like I said, somebody complained They're like, they didn't like that it was the cab was closed in. And you know what? I was thinking, I have a bigger complaint, and it's not a problem with this one. Just figured I'd say it, with hatches that don't open. Okay, I don't want every hatch open, but if you give me 100 tanks, I want maybe 20 of them open. I want about that percentage, maybe 20%. You know, one tank in a platoon or so. It's just an opportunity to show a figure in there. Now, the fact that this one doesn't open, not a big deal. But if I had like 15 of these and none of them opened, I'd probably want some of them opened. You know, I don't want them all open. I don't care about the little crew hatches, right? I don't want the driver sticking his head. Like, dude, you need to be doing your job. Get your ass back in there, you know? Stop fucking around, man. There's Jerry's to kill. All right, so we put these two pieces together. Yeah, it's peace of mind using this stuff. This stuff is really expensive, unfortunately. Let's put all our bits back. Let's not be that guy. And he might be saying something that's important information, but I'm listening to it without listening to. Yeah, he doesn't put a whole lot of glue in. The guy that does these assembly videos. Now, one thing that's funny, I talk about this all the time, is we all have our mannerisms that we do. I don't know what it is that I do. I probably talk with my hands all the fucking time, but you know, hey, I'm Latin. There's things, you know, there's different people, you know, like I'll say stuff and I'll laugh at my own stuff. There's some comedians that don't laugh at their own things at all. They're like deadpan. This guy, what he does is every time he uses the super glue, he closes it back up. Yeah, that would drive me fucking crazy. I get it. That's probably the right way to do it, but you know, we all have our things, so we're not going to do that every time. All right, this goes like here. Looks like the height is nice. Now I'm going to follow his instructions. See, I would slather all this on, but I've been doing it wrong all along. The other thing that allows me to do it, if not doing that, I put some little glue dots here, and if I'm not near the bottom, then I can push these things together, and this super glue doesn't goop out the bottom and get on this. This takes a little bit of working time. It's always, I don't know, maybe I just use weld cement too long, and I'm used to like it being cover the whole thing, cover the, you know, and then put it on there, and it grabs everywhere. I have to retrain myself. The retrainment camp. Yeah, speaking of Plastic Soldier Company, they do weird stuff like the Tigers come 3 in a pack in 20 millimeter, but the Panthers only get 2, and the Churchills only get 2. And the Panther and Tiger are like the same damn size. One's longer than the other one, and the Tiger's fatter, you know? But they're like the same size tank. All right, now he's gluing the bottom of the turret. All right, let's go ahead and do that. No flash. No flash at all on this. Yeah, the scenarios that are in that Monty's Epsom book, these all come in sets of 3. The Churchills all go in sets of 3 in that game anyways. Yeah, definitely want to be using this stuff, not the instant. So we line this thing up evenly across the whole thing. I did see the video that the Chieftain and Lindy Beige crawled into the turret of it was a Mark 7. That was pretty. I don't really like the Chieftain. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything. He's just a bit dry. Lindy Beige is fucking hilarious, or he can be. Although now he's currently making videos that have nothing to do with the whole reason I'm watching his channel, but I don't watch those videos. I mean, you can make whatever videos you want. Probably like some people like, why are you making Gasland videos? You know, like, well, that's what I do. Oh, sexy. So I'm making this, I don't remember which brigade it is, because I haven't looked at it in a few weeks or a couple months. But this is, these are going to be for the one that supported the Scottish Division in Operation Epsom. I don't remember which one. I want to say it's the 36th, but I probably have it wrong. I got the micromark list for it, so. The micromark stuff is weird because you think, how are they going to have all this particular information? And they do. Oh, it's got a little box. It's got a little Rommel box on the back. Nice. Now, is it on the bottom or is it flush with the top? Let's look at a real picture one. I mean, I've got the Churchill book, but it's just easier to look at here. It's like it's flush on the top. You know the best thing about the Churchill tank? I don't think I've ever seen a picture of one that has the American star on it. Which I wouldn't do anyways, you know. And you Brit guys understand. I don't like putting the American star on it, not because it's like, you're not worthy. I just don't I don't think it's appropriate. Like, you're your own freaking country. You should put the roundel on it or whatever. And they did in North Africa sometimes, or leave it off. Like, I won't have either one of them on there. I'm not putting American-like markings on a non-American vehicle. It's confusing. Okay. I actually like the 75 millimeter barrel with that muzzle brake. It looks cute. That's a good thing. This is a combination video where he's got the stuff for the crocodile as well. We don't have a crocodile. And some people would have a moo cow. It's like, man, that wheel doesn't have any detail for the backside. I don't care about that stuff. You know, we can paint things when they don't have the detail, and it doesn't. You know, I got that Martyr from Plastic Soldier Company. It doesn't have the 75 mil, the Pack 40 has no rail it runs on. It's just a solid fucking chunk. So I painted it like there was a rail there, and it turned out really well. Okay, now you want me to put the sides, okay? That's literally the only thing left. Okay, you put a big long goob. It should be flush on the top. Nice thing about this vehicle is so big, a whole squad can definitely get behind it and use it for cover. You've been to Mark's house, and he has a load of books, but he gets most info for books he gets at interlibrary loans. Need to get an 8.8 centimeter pack 43 for that gigantic famo to tote around. Well, I really got this thing to tow, to tow vehicles. To tow like a Tiger in a scenario. That's really what I got it for. Yeah, I don't like the pack 43 that's on the cruciform. It looks ugly as shit. Now the barn door looks sexy, but you know what I'm talking about. The pack 43 on the cruciform looks like it looks deformed. It don't look right. Now, I'm going to. He said this goes all the way to the end. Let's double check this because I'd like to do a good job on this. And of course, this one does not have the sand skirts. Here we go. Here's an actual vehicle. Here's the Bovington one. And it's missed. Oh no, it's got the thing there. Yeah, I'm not going to super detail it with stuff. I may put like equipment or something on it, but this is going to fit against the front. Pay attention. That did seem right. Let's look at where it is on the back. Let's see how much that little Churchill Mark III 75 millimeter rear. Here we go. Okay, the tracks are inside that little loop. So there's a little loop here, like a tow hook, and the tracks are inside of that. Okay, perfect. All right, just want to make sure before we, Now, this rides on the whole damn thing. Yes, so I'm going to put the glue on here. So we're going to put one up here. So I've mentioned this before. I really like British stuff because them and the Germans have the most interesting as far as like unit markings. However, not every unit has really cool unit markings. That doesn't seem right. And this particular tank brigade uses a lame-ass fucking marking. There's some that have really cool markings. This tank brigade isn't one of them. They just have that hourglass symbol. Fucking stupid, and But it is what it is, Just like I like making fun of, one of the worst uniforms in World War II. Well, the worst one's those F-A-Zone guys, okay? But not counting them, is I think that the tanker uniforms that U.S. Army used are horrendous. Now, that's not knocking veterans. They don't get to pick their fucking uniform, right? But that football helmet thing, it looks stupid. That doesn't mean I won't have guys with it. It just, do we like how this is? Okay, that's on the inside. That's lined up there. It's funny, it's not exactly in the center of that sprocket. To get it in the center of the sprocket, this would be too low. You know, nothing's perfect, you know, and as I said before, as long as I'm happy with it, the heck with everybody else. What's up, Lee? Mark's also got me to doing 176 72nd aircraft for some reason. I bet he hasn't done a single 76 aircraft. They don't make them in 76. So I'm not sure if we'll have more aircraft lists coming. I didn't even know he had aircraft lists. Didn't know that. Tell him I said hi. I like the fact that I can get them immediately. I don't have to wait for them to come across the pond. And, you know, I want this list about this one thing. You throw a couple bucks at it, done. You know? Hopefully he's not a communist. Oh. Yeah, I remember buying more of this stuff at Walmart. That's like the only place that carries it. The green one. I didn't know the green one existed. Now, I came really close to buying a model from these guys for a tank for my Gaslands British. So, here's your quiz. Which tank would that have been? Which tank for Miniature Tanks Company would I have used for Gaslands for the British? You know, for Cruel Britannia. This thing looks excellent. And it might have some print lines that show up. I'm okay with it. I hope you guys can sleep at night. You know, I've got that Hellcat that I built by them in the Jeeps. They've got print lines. They look great. His contact info's on a list, so if you ever need further info on something, you should drop him an email. It's better than the Italian tanker helmet. I don't know, they're right there with them. You know, yeah, the tankers are like, you know, yeah, they're goofy. They're goofy fuckers. How about that Danish infantry helmet? Fucking lame, man. That's what I've always said. I think that's why German stuff is popular. Because they were assholes, but they were fancy dressers. You know? And they have cool looking stuff. You know? They're rat bastards, but they have cool looking stuff. But you know, they also have to fight other people. You know, so I'm not like, you know, I get annoyed when you got somebody like Tamiya or something like that, and they make like 75 German models and like, you know, one British tank and two Russians and three Americans. Like, who are these guys going to fight? Yeah, I kind of wish I had a little ledge or something like that to fit it on there. But it's all right. Just give it some TLC and it'll take care of itself. Okay, I think we let that joker dry. and we're done. Unfortunately, I want to see what it's put together, but I don't want to use the instant super glue. Like having some working time on it is like awesome. So Tetrarch, that's a good choice. Tetrarch is I think, an attractive vehicle. I think that it's an attractive vehicle. I'll probably never own one because the only people that used them was like the 6th Airborne. And the 6th Airborne only dropped at Normandy, I think. It's a cool vehicle, but no. The right wrong answer would be a Saladin. The Saladin armored car, I've always thought was really cool looking. Always. No, they make has to be a Tog. No, but that's a good choice. Tog's too ugly. Let me see if I can find it. It came really close. I may still get it one time. But it's a vehicle that is not recognizable readily. And it's not a World War II vehicle. Miniature Tanks Company. Nope. Let's go to their website. And let's sort by shop, and we're going to go products. The filter is going to be brand. Britain is all the way down here at the bottom. United Kingdom. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Because it's actually United Kingdom Colt. God bless it. You hate that when you make a mistake and you go and the thing moves on you and you click on the wrong thing. Cold War. I think it's in here. The Charioteer. I was going to get the Charioteer. It looks fucking cool, man. And when the hell else would I use a Charioteer? It's make-believe, so I'd probably do a Charioteer and paint it in, what do you call that stuff? The splinter camouflage they use for the desert. See, I don't talk about it in 6 months and I forget. Counter. I'd probably paint it in counter and do it with the blue, the light blue on purpose, like the wrong counter. I think it would look spot on. I might just do that at some point. Okay, is this thing going to slip on me? No. Look at that. Fucking gorgeous. Now, the bad thing about a Churchill is, unless you're doing one in Tunisia, which this one won't be, it's all one color. But that's okay. Nice. Chunky. Still dwarfed by this family. Well, this almost looks 28 millimeter. Okay. What else we got here? Let's do the Czech 35. And no, it's not going to be for France, because that would be stupid for me. Build all those. Actually, if I was going to do France, I'd do Czech tanks. Let's see what we got here. Let's go back to their miniature tanks company, Panzer 35. Panzer 35. Yeah, that fan wheel's huge. Huge, just huge. All right, trim the barrel. Well, you know, that's kind of annoying to have to trim the barrel, but you know what? These barrels are really durable. Make sure we don't have any deep comments here. That hexagonal hatch on the front is begging to be a stop sign. Bought a few Vickers utility tractors recently for low-tech science fiction. Never seen them before. There's a hexagonal. A stop sign. Stop or I'll say stop again. Okay, they want me to cut this thing out. Well, that's kind of a pain that's even there. And I can't get in here really well. So we're going to use our little tool here. Let's do this one. This material is really hard. Let's see if we even made a dent on this. It's a really hard material. You guys don't mind that I'm doing this morning as opposed to finishing the Scarlet, what's his name? Scarlet Scoundrel? He'll be next. I don't think I'm going to paint these just yet. I just wanted to see what they look like put together. Okay, perfect. This little fucker's handy. The bad thing about it is that I don't think these bits I can put something else other than the ones that they included, because I mean, they're kind of abrasive. You know? But that's good. It's not something I would have bought myself. I could get by without it, but, you know, I have it, so it's like, well, that's kind of cool. complicated ass running gear. All right, let's cut the bottom of this thing off. Okay, this looks like a little bit delicate. This Czech machine gun. You know, what's really annoying about modeling, I think, is flash lines. And these don't have any flash lines. Now, if I remember correctly, this has a 37 millimeter gun, like the Czech 38. However, it's a little bit less powerful than the Czech 38 gun. If memory serves me right. It's off by a couple of calibers or something like that. I don't make this shit up. And I kind of like the way these look. I mean, I like the way the 38s look too. I was tempted to order 4 of these. But I'm like, nah, it makes more sense to get one of each of a couple different things. Because remember, these are the ones that were stopped by that KV-1 in Lithuania. Where the 6th Panzer Division ran into a KV and just basically blocked the road for several days and they couldn't get around it. Oh shit, I gotta wake the daughter up. I'll be right back. As Tony would say, is cute. What, am I the only one that says stuff like that? Look, take something like a Matilda 2. A Matilda 2 is cute. It is. I'm not trying to, make it, make it seem like pussify it or something. I'm just saying it's true. It's freaking cute. You know? You know it. Don't deny it. All right. Be extra careful under the MG. Yep. I was. Your material's super durable. Like, that makes it easy. He's got stuff here on the, oh, these need to come off. Well, okay, how about I just bend them back and we're done. Oh, are they parts that need to be on here? Oh yeah, they are. They look like it. Okay, where do those little guys go? No doubt it's some kind of exhaust. Wonder which super glue they're going to use. They're the ones that sold me on this adjustable one, though. Oh, he's even building the same scale I am. The one true scale. Be careful with these tiny parts. You ain't seen tiny yet. Okay, you're still cleaning up the center. I know, I didn't go in order. I obviously needed to do that. Come on. You can do it. Yeah. Could just use an X-Acto knife. It turned out really well. Yeah, these things are really, I mean, you know, you got somebody that mishandles things, these are good tanks for them. They don't damage easily. Now you need to sand that. Forget that turret to fit in there right, man. And I don't know whether they actually make the designs or they use somebody else's designs and they print them. I honestly don't know. And the only reason I'm saying that is because there's some German half tracks that that I got more given to me by my friend in Spain, and they look really similar to the designs that these guys have. Okay, so he wants me to put the front on it next. Okay, well let's take these two little pieces and put them way over there. Okay, let's trim this up. So I don't know whether that's the case or not. If I put this, yeah, let's put this flush. That's a great idea. I can just not put the glue towards the bottom. You know, a king tiger. A king tiger is not cute. That doesn't mean it's ugly or anything. I'm just saying it's just not cute. It's got too many harsh angles on it. Okay, so this sits, if I put that flush, the front is actually a little lower than the top. So let's go ahead and move that so it's flush on the bottom. And by doing so, if it fits in here in the fenders a little bit better. I almost bought one of these made by, I want to say UM. No, not UM. somebody. I'm glad I didn't. I hate photo etch stuff. And it's not because it's too flimsy, because it isn't. Because it's very like, you can't break a photo etch thing. You can bend it out of place and you can also bend it back. But gluing photo etch stuff, I'm just not a fan of. You know, it's wafer thin. It's like gluing a fender. I've got some T26s, right? The fenders are like this thick, and you got to glue them to the side of the freaking hull, and there's no like ledge for them to sit on. Well, it's like, I still haven't finished them. I will, but guy sold them on eBay really cheap. Now I know why. Okay, we got that done. Does this thing have a whole machine gun? I guess it does. We'll have to drill one out. Okay, it's got this free-form turret. It's going to fit flush on the back. Okay, let's go ahead and do that as well. Yay, we're back to tanks. I could do with a mini rotary. I don't know how much it costs. She claims it wasn't very expensive. It's called Customizer Engraving Pen. I'm sure it comes from, you know, China. I'm like, I don't really have a need to engrave anything, but it's pretty. I don't think it replaces. I don't think it replaces a Dremel tool. Like it can't drill through this. This stuff's really hard, but that's good. I wouldn't want it to. Well, pay attention, asshole. Easy. Good God, man. There's no excuse for that fumble. I didn't have glasses on. Let's put a glue dot here, a glue dot there, some here, some there. All right. Looks good. Set that over there. All right, what are we doing next, pal? Oh, it does have an MG? That's an MG? No. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Where's the other one go on? The just give you a spare one? They gave you two in case you lose one? I guess it kind of looks like it. Yeah, he didn't sand the turret down. It doesn't go on as well as mine. Not my first rodeo. It's a good looking vehicle. It's got some lines on it. I'm sure I'll post pictures of it and people will be griping. Whatever, go get a life. Same people that don't like lines probably play Minecraft. They don't have a problem with, you know, that shit graphics. China. Cheers, Tony. For sale in UK too. Oh, is it? Yeah, I don't know how much this thing goes for, but I guess they give you a spare. All right. Well, I was planning on using a piece of sprue. I guess we could try using this. The biggest problem with small pieces, for me, is not seeing them. That's not an issue. It's like, trying to grab them. It's like King Kong trying to, grab this piece while you're... These guys also make a huge variety of like trucks. They make all kinds of... That's what I was going to do. Let me just get trucks, right? But I know trucks are hard to get excited about, but Chevrolet trucks, like a lot of trucks that like the British used in the desert and things like that. They're... So what I focused on was getting things that are kind of exclusive to these guys, not made by everybody under the sun. And they make stuff like, a Tiger 1. I don't need a Tiger 1. Okay. And then this little bottom part is kind of like at a little angle. Let's see if we can capture that. This is a lot easier to do than like somebody like Dragon. Dragon stuff is like to scale, but man, it's just not durable. Yep. Now this one, we're gonna keep using this one. So let me use the regular super glue. Like that. Tweezer work. These tanks drive on the British side. And it's funny, I was talking about some French vehicles. I was like, some French vehicles have the steering on the British side. And I was looking through something the other day, and it's like there was an Italian vehicle had the same thing. So that's got to be really annoying, like not knowing which way to go. All right, so then we just center that and that. And this is going to be sitting on these high points, which is this one, this one, this one, and this one. Oh, that's actually visible. This little goo got in between it. Let's see, what can I wipe it down with? Well, let's use our finger. It's like honey, in a way. That's only bad about this slow drying stuff. And the price of it is really expensive. Okay. Let's do it again. Let's pull off of it. There we go. Let's go down and pull up. Okay. That's what we need to do. Wasn't holding my mouth right. There we go. Yes, this is the channel where we make mistakes and we learn from them. Not really a mistake, but if that was real super glue, I wouldn't have done that. I would have gotten stuck to it. Nope. And we touched that, and now it's out of place. I'm going to need a little drop of this. Wow, that was difficult doing that with the left hand. Wait. Oh, you know what we need? We need a piece of stickum. That way you can support the weight until it cures. Now we're going to put it down here. And this guy's done. A little flash there. Just slightly smaller than the Czech 38. A little narrower too. You like trucks? Well, most people don't. You know, they're just not exciting. You know. Okay, I'll be right back. Just 1 second. Yeah, there's all kinds of trucks that are made out there that they make a bunch. They don't make everything, but I mean, there's just German trucks alone. There's a bunch of them that get captured, and I think I read somewhere. I don't know whether it's accurate or not. I haven't checked it, but you know, you think of German trucks and you think of okay, Opel Blitz, right? But apparently, one of the most common ones is this truck called like a Magirus, And it was like, I think I read somewhere that was the most common German truck. I'm like, well, they should have taken pictures of it because you don't see any of them. Just like when I had that old 1/35 scale Tamiya model of the Krupp Protz. They only made one truck, that Krupp Protz truck, which I like the way that Krupp Protz truck looks. But back in the day, you couldn't find pictures of it in action. You couldn't find it. And like if you didn't want to do something for North Africa, I don't think they went to North Africa. I don't think any Krupp Protzes are. I've never seen a picture of a Krupp Protz in North Africa. Krupp Protz, Krupp Protz. All right. Speaking of trucks, here's an ambulance. The classic Dodge. I think it's a 3/4 ton ambulance. You know, no detail on the inside of the tires. I personally don't care. You know, it's better than putting two halves of the tires together and sanding them down, all that nonsense. So, we will see. We will go to Miniature Tanks Company. WC Ambulance. WC-45 ambulance, okay? It's a Dodge. Mopar. You're the odd one out? All right, Lee, thanks for stopping by. This is actually one of my favorite looking trucks. Like aesthetically, it is a great looking truck. Now, these areas here are solid, so you have to cut these things out, which I'm going to be honest with you, that's probably not something that most people are going to enjoy doing. The Jeeps were the same way when I had to build the Jeeps, so we're just going to snip this. It's a couple different layers. Let's take this top layer first. And then we're going to use this little grinder to get around it. And now we got that out of the way. And do the same thing with this one. Yeah, I didn't have this tool earlier when I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them and see you still have a little bit of a line there, which isn't a big deal. I think the fact that this material is super, you know, I don't know if SU makes one of those, but if they did, it'd probably be, you know, a pain in the butt. Here's where the spare tire goes. Okay. All right, make sure I don't cut anything off that's needed on the front. Okay, cut that out, and then what? What about this front piece? That come off too? I have a feeling it does. Mm-hmm. And then the other side. Make sure you don't, there's a little step in here with it. I bet you need to leave that in. Yep. Otherwise, I could see people making that mistake. I could see people cutting this too close, and then you're up that creek. Okay. I probably would have cut that off by accident had I not watched the video. And then I just would have had to make it out of wood or something like that, and it wouldn't make any difference in the end other than it would have been annoying to. Okay, we're going to cut this. They have this like layered in a couple different layers. Let's just take the top layer off first. Normally wouldn't want to hear that sound. Like, no, what happened? Okay, and then we'll cut this across the top. Make sure there's nothing underneath there we want to save. Okay. And we make sure that is removed from it. It is. Okay. Okay, and that's what it ends up looking like, as opposed to this whole thing that is closed up on the front there. Okay, same thing on the other side. Now, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right here if this material wasn't durable. Now we will come and cut the front. And guess what? This is another vehicle that has headlamps that you get to paint. Yay! And that's not sarcastic. I like painting headlamps. And oh no, this is another window that's closed, an enclosed cab, which I prefer. Instead of having one that you build empty and there's not a guy in there, or you put a guy and there shouldn't be, you know. Okay. Now we get a little grindy apparatus. At the slowest setting. I mean, it comes with a shitload of tips. I don't know that you'd ever wear one of them out using it for this material, but I want to get to the back side, so let me use one that's a little bit thinner. Let's see, let's say this one. Yeah. Should put a disclaimer on here. If you had bad experience at the dentist, don't come watch this episode. Nice. It's a good looking truck. Good looking truck. Except for that big red cross that'll be on the side of it. That'll all be hand painted. It's too much trouble to use decals for some things. You spend days looking for the decals, and then you find out you don't want to buy them because they're $5, but shipping's 12. You know, you can buy 6 ambulances for the price of one decal set. Got a question for you, Mitch. What the hell is a hairy Christian? Well, they shave their head except like a little knot up here, and they eat this tofu and shit and bang on a tambourine in the corner. Which is kind of ironic because they're not Christian or hairy. Except the women. I hope that answers your question. What if we brought that up? Whoa, didn't like that. No harm, no foul. You heard it several times in a DBA videos. Really? I should go back and watch them and see what the hell I was talking about. But the reality is, if I want to do it to be entertained, yeah, see, this is kind of, it almost has like this staggered appearance there. And I don't know if this is even worth, like, it's a really hard material. I tried doing that with a Hellcat one time, and I wasn't getting anywhere. How are we doing on charge for this thing? Probably charge it after we use it today. So the foot pedal Exacto that I have, you can go a lot slower than this, but it has a lot of torque. You see how this one, you can almost like slow it down to nothing? The other one you can't. Not with this material. Which means if you screw up, you could like put a hole somewhere you don't want to. I do dental work on Mondays. I wouldn't want to work on people's mouths. Y'all, some of y'all have some nasty mouths out there. Nice. I'm going to look at pictures and see if there's actually a little bit of a gap. You don't want to just automatically shove that tire all the way up in there and then realize, oh, there's actually a little bit of a gap on the vehicle. It looks funkish. Okay. Now, if this was like regular plastic, you'd go through this really quick. Now the nice thing is you charge it just like that, like done. Like it's a USB-C, which is my preference. I wish everything was USB-C. Okay. Let's go back to the video. See how they want to put the suspension in the right place because there's no little prongs or anything to tell you where to go. What are we doing next, boss? Okay, so it looks like he's putting glue on it. I want to see where it goes before we start putting glue on it. Okay. Let's pull up. There we go. That's not even fucking close, Rose. Okay. Even there, even on that little thing, that's where it goes. Okay. Now we should just be able to put the tire in the middle of that axle right in the middle. See how much gap he's got around that. Okay. good looking vehicle. I think it does. I think it looks good. A lot better than putting together one of those Eschi models with all the flimsy parts that. I know there's some people that don't like to assemble anything. Well, get this bastard. Nothing to assemble on it. It's done, you know? Almost done. Time to make breakfast. Catch me later. Okay, man. Hey, good morning. Banchis. All right, let's see where we go next. Probably these two little pieces. And he's still trying to line it up. I've just been painting the windows almost like a smoke color, like they're tinted. That works for me. Sometimes I see the treatment that people do with like the little gleam, and sometimes it looks good, and sometimes it doesn't. I've done it a couple times, and I'm not really happy with how it looks. To each their own. Yep, still glued on the wheels. So it goes across the back. That's a pretty thick goop there. Oh, really? It's a step. And then where's that little guy go? On the what? Huh. Okay. Well, we need to do a little bit better than that. How about WC? How about Dodge WC-54 ambulance? I believe lots of these are running. This looks like the little place like the shovels and stuff go. And every one of these has it on the opposite side. Not the side that says to put them on there. Yeah, see, they've got this tire side has the tire on it, and that's it. And the other side is the one that has little shovels and stuff. And it's below this little midpoint. So we're going to follow what we see. And we're going to put it down here. And we probably have some little shovels to put on it. We're going to put it there. Now, let's see if I can get away with this. We're going to grab it like so. Now, what about this little step down there in the back? I love the internet. As you know, you can got any questions? Look at pictures of real vehicles. I don't know how well that's going to hold. Yeah, we can give it a shot. That's really low. Well, if it breaks off, it breaks off. I might find a little shovel to put on there and give a little bit of detail. Extra detail. Now we'll close this. Okay. So this guy's done. All this stuff is flash. And now we can remove this little stickum piece that was just there trying to carry some of the weight. So we have the WC-45 ambulance, Panzer 35, STK of Z11, Churchill 3, and it's not that heavy, but it's massive. It looks the wrong scale. It's massive. It is absolutely massive. This Famo 9. And that's all of them built that we got in. And we've got extra parts here to doctor up some of my Shermans that I have. And all this stuff is from Miniature Tanks Company. So they also make buildings too. They make a few buildings. I was really tempted to get some, but like, nah, they're a tanks company. We need to show you some of the stuff that they started doing originally. I'm sure their buildings are just fine too. Probably really durable. Like I said, this is super durable stuff. Not that you need to be ham-fisted doing this, but you know. All right, folks. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video because we just did this. I'm not sure if I'm going to roll right back into another one, flipping around and doing Gaslands, which is over on that table. But we'll see here in a little bit. Let me go check with the